Today, we'll be looking at how China wants to be the world's AI superpower. If you're new to this channel, welcome. This is Mr. Singularity, where we explore the illuminating scientific and technological breakthroughs shaping the future as we know it. The star of China has been slowly growing for decades. In addition to developing extreme poverty rates from 88% to below 2% in just 30 years, the nation has become a global powerhouse in manufacturing and technology. Its rate of growth may slow due to an aging population, but China is still one of the largest players in the world in a variety of cutting-edge technology fields. Artificial intelligence is one of these sectors and possibly the most important. The Chinese government unveiled a proposal in 2017 to become the global leader in AI by 2030, and has since poured billions of dollars into AI ventures and research through academia, government, and the private sector. The government's venture capital fund is spending more than $30 billion in AI. The northeastern city of Tianjin is budgeting $16 billion for AI, and the $2 billion AI research park is being built in Beijing. In addition to these massive investments, the government and private companies in China have access to an enormous volume of data, from public health to smartphone use. WeChat, a multifunctional software that helps users to chat, date, send payments, hail rides, read news, and more, provides the CCP direct access to user data upon request. As one BBC journalist put it, WeChat was ahead of the curve on the global level and has made its way into every corner of people's lives. It could give the Communist Party a life map of almost everyone in this world, people, foreigners, and alike. And that's only one, albeit big, data source. Many agree that these factors give China a serious leg up in developing AI, even having enough momentum to exceed that of the US. But there's more to AI than numbers, and more to development than spending billions of dollars. Analyzing China's ability to become a global leader in AI, or in any technology that needs continuous creativity, from several perspectives gives a more complex view of its strengths and shortcomings. In the June 2020 Foreign Affairs Post, the Oxford fellow Carl Benedict Frey and Michael Osborne argued that China's main advantages might not be that beneficial in the long run, and its shortcomings may be very small. Dropping the needle AI. To get an idea of who is going to take the lead in AI, it might help first to imagine how technology can progress past its current state. To put it simply, AI is trapped a little at the moment. Algorithms and neural networks combine to continue to produce new and remarkable feats, like DeepMind's AlphaFold, reliably predicting protein structures, or OpenAI's GPT-3, writing short-term persuasive articles. But most of these systems' capabilities are still defined as narrow intelligence, performing a particular task for which the algorithm was painstakingly trained on data loads. It's worth mentioning here that several of the speculates of OpenAI's GPT-3 might be an anomaly, the first example of machine intelligence that, although not general, exceeded the concept of narrow. The algorithm was trained to write text, yet ended up being able to convert between languages, write code, autocomplete images, do arithmetic, and perform other language-related tasks that weren't unique. The success of AlphaFold and GPT-3 was largely attributed to the vast datasets on which they were trained. No innovative new training approaches or architectures were involved. If all that was required to advance AI was continually or scaling up of this paradigm, more input data yields improved capacity. China may well have an advantage. But one of the main obstacles AI needs to clear up to progress forward in leaps and bounds, rather than baby steps, is precisely this dependency on comprehensive, task-specific results. Other important problems include the accelerated approach of technology to the limitations of modern computing capacity and its enormous energy usage. Thus, while China's database can now give it an edge, it may not be much of a long-term foothold in the rise of AI supremacy. It's useful for designing goods that integrate or rely on today's AI, but not for moving the needle to understand how artificially intelligent systems learn. WeChat data on consumer buying patterns, for example, can be useful in developing an AI that lets users save money or recommends things they might like to buy. It will allow, and has already made it possible, highly customized goods that will make their developers and the businesses that use them a lot of money. But the data quantity isn't what AI is trying to advance. As Frey and Osborne called it, data efficiency is the holy grail of further progress in the field of artificial intelligence. To that end, study teams in the academic and private sector are collaborating on ways to make AI less data hungry. New teaching techniques, including one-shot learning and less than one-shot learning, have started to appear, along with a variety of attempts to make AI that thinks more like a human brain. Though not negligible, these developments also come in the context of baby steps. No one knows how AI is going to get past these modest steps, and that confusion, in phrase view, is a big speed bump on China's fast-track path to AI supremacy. When creativity is going to happen, a lot of brilliant inventions have come by mistake, and some of the most famous businesses in the world have started out in garages, dorm rooms, or equally low-budget, undefined situations, including Google, Facebook, Amazon, and Apple, to name a few. Innovation, the authors point out, also occurs through serendipity and recombination, since investors and entrepreneurs interact and exchange ideas. Frey and Osborne claim that, while China has great talent pools and a tradition of invention building conceived abroad, it still seems not to have a fantastic track record in terms of creativity. They note that none of the 100 most quoted patents from 2003 to the present come from China. Giants Tencent, Alibaba, and Baidu are widely popular in the Chinese market, but they are embedded in innovations or business models that have originated from the US and have been modified by the Chinese people. The most innovative societies have always been the ones that have allowed people to pursue controversial ideas, writes Frey and Osborne. China's heavy filtering of the internet and monitoring of people do not promote the exploration of provocative ideas. The country's social credit scheme honors those who obey the laws and punishes those who break the line. Frey continues that top-down problem-solving implementation is successful where the problem at hand is well-defined, and the next major strides in AI are not. It is unclear how profoundly a society of social conformism can have an effect on technological innovation, and of course, there can be exceptions. However, a notable historical example is the Soviet Union, which, considering the heavy spending in science and technology that momentarily rivaled the US in fields such as nuclear energy and space exploration, ended up lagging far behind, mainly due to political and cultural considerations. Likewise, China's emphasis on computer science in its education system could give it an edge, but as Frey told me in an email, the best students aren't always the best researchers. Being a good researcher still has to come up with new ideas. Winner taking all of it? Beyond the question as to whether China can gain AI superiority, there is a question about how it can employ effective technologies. Several of the ways in which China has already introduced AI may be considered legally dubious, ranging from facial recognition devices used violently towards ethnic minorities to smart glasses for policemen that can gather knowledge on who the wearer looks at. This is not to suggest that the United States will use AI for solely legal reasons. Military Project Maven, for example, used artificially intelligent software to recognize militant targets in Iraq, while Syria and American law enforcement authorities still used, mostly unregulated, facial recognition technologies. It is conceivable that dominance in AI is not going to one country. Each nation could reach milestones in various ways or meet different milestones. Researchers from both countries, at least in the academic sector, will and would likely continue to cooperate and share their work as they have done on many projects to date. If a country takes the lead, it can definitely have some big benefits as a result. Brookings Institute fellow Inner McGill goes so far as to suggest that whoever heads the AI in 2030 will, quote, rule the world before 2100. But Gill points out that, in addition to understanding each country's strengths, we should consider how eager they are to strengthen their weaknesses. Although China is leading investment in the US in innovation, both nations are struggling with tremendous economic disparities that could adversely affect technological adoption. Attitudes towards social change that accompany new technologies matter as much as technologies, pointing to the need for complementary policies that shape the economy and society, Gill writes. Will China's leadership be able to loosen its hold on promoting innovation? Will the U.S. market climate be enough to compete with China's data, investment, and educational advantages? Will all countries find a way to more equitably share the economic gains of technology? Time is going to say, but it seems we've had our job cut out for us, and China is doing it too. What's your take on this? Let me know down in the comments below and check out one of these other videos. This has been Mr. Singularity, and I'll see you on the next one.